RCKicks. On today's show, we're going to be rebuilding the giveaway Falcon. Off camera, I've spent ages cleaning up every single part I got from the car and giving it a good polish. So that took a while, and I used my ultrasonic cleaner. If you haven't seen the video on that one, I'll put a link up here. I've cleaned all the wheels, tried to remove as much damage as possible, put some tyres on. They're not brand new tyres, but they're reasonably good ones. And all the wheels came up really nice, as well as the yellow parts. What I found with some of the yellow parts, especially the cage around the back, you get a lot of scuff marks. So I've sanded them down and given them a bit of a polish and got the dirt and grime off, as well as the bits of plastic that get grinded away when the car runs over it, and they come up okay. So suspension came up really well, so I'm happy with that. Right, we better start putting it back together. Now I've got my original manual, and we start with page 4 and 5, and that's the electronics. So let's crack on and get it done. One of the problems I had when I dismantled the car was I found out that the receiver, the Futaba receiver that was in the car, didn't work. But I had a spare one, but unfortunately my spare one had the aerial cut off. So I got it working, but the aerial was like that long, so obviously that's not any good. So the plan was, because I had 2 of them, that I would undo them all, desolder the aerial and solder it onto the good one, which is what I've just done. Turns out when I opened it up, I could see why. It's blown a few capacitors over here, and there's a dirty big burn mark. So obviously that is toast. But luckily, removing the aerial was really easy, and I've just resoldered the aerial onto the good one, and now everything works. So that's great. That means I can keep the original electronics that came with the car still in the car. So that's brilliant. Right, what's next? I've got to put the mechanical speed controller in, but I needed to fit the receiver underneath. So that's why I had to jump forward and do a bit of soldering. Yes, I know my soldering's terrible. You don't have to tell me. I know. I will fix the Tomahawk after the last video. If you haven't seen my nightmare soldering, I'll put a link up here to my Tomahawk brushless upgrade. Yes, you can mock me in the comments about my terrible soldering and why I use banana plugs when I could have just soldered the wire straight to the motors. Anyway, I didn't say I was any good at this stuff. Right, let's crack on. Okay, well, I've got all the electronics in the car, and I've tried to make it as neat as possible for the new owner. It's looking all right. It's looking very spiffy. What's next? Well, it's asking me to build the suspension. Like I haven't built suspension before. Okay, right, so I've got to put the suspension back together again, and then we focus on the front section, which is page 9. So let me get this suspension out of the way as fast as possible, and I'll be right back. So far, well, I've built quite a few Falcons, to be quite honest with you, so it's nothing I haven't done before, and I'm pretty sure I'll still screw something up. But hey, we carry on anyway. Okay, so I finished the suspension, all done, came up beautiful. You wouldn't think it was 27 odd years old, would you? Lovely. Now, the only problem with the Falcon is I always found the suspension was a little bit stiff. So I went with some 20 weight on this from Team Lossy. Obviously, I don't have any Tamiya ones. I still think it's a little bit stiff. That was the lightest that I had. So really, it needs to have the pistons changed to ones with bigger hole bores. But I don't have any here. So that's something that the new owner could do, or whether it's going to sit on the shelf, I don't know. I've always found them to be just a little bit too stiff straight out of the box, even with the Tamiya oil. So on my driving Falcon, I've actually changed the suspension completely to make it much softer, because I always found them just bounces around a lot. So that was it. Right, next we've got to do the arms. We're on page 9, number 15. So we're now going to start to assemble the front of the car, which is the things that are normally all broken, but on this one, they're perfect. So I'm amazed. Whoever's going to win this car is going to get a completely original car. I haven't needed, oh, there's one part I've needed to swap out, but every part that's going back on this car, pretty much apart from a battery, is going to be the original ones that were on the car. Now I've put some slightly better tyres on, but apart from that, the actual arms, the front, the suspension, the swing arms at the back, all that is original to this kit. So the car is going to be as genuine as you can pretty much get it. Right, let's get the front suspension done. That's the front all finished, no issues whatsoever. You don't normally see that many solid front ends. This is all original. I haven't changed any parts whatsoever, which is almost unheard of. But fantastic. So whoever's going to get this car is getting a good one, that's for sure. I haven't replaced a single bit. It's amazing. I fitted all the pins nice and soft as well, so hopefully it will stay in good condition. Right, next we've got to take that and we've got to bolt it onto the front. I greased and oiled everything, so next is just attaching it. It's very easy. You just slide it on and then you have the bolts that go on the top and bottom. Right, let's carry on. Well, things have moved on. I've got all the front end in, the wheels are all on. I know the wheels are not supposed to go on the end, but I know the car enough to get to the point where the front's done and then I work on the back. One thing I did notice when I was fitting this, screwing in the body mount, there's a crack, a hairline crack on the back. So I've put some super glue in it, but I managed to get it all the way in before. So that should be okay, but that was a bit of a shame because apart from that, the whole front is mint. But I guess that there was a little hairline crack before, so there's not much I can do about that, but you'll never notice it unless you actually look for it. So it's tiny, just a tiny one. Right, the rear gearbox is all done. I decided I would put bearings in the back. I wasn't just going to put plastic throughout because I'm pretty sure this car won't be driven very much. But then I thought, well, there isn't that many bearings in here and I had them spare. So I've put bearings all the way through. Plus the winner can always decide to put bearings in the wheels and that's super, super quick. So I thought, well, why not? So it's all nice and smooth. I've put the original motor back in and we've got the mount on now. And as you can see, it all scrubs up really nice. So what's next? Now we move on to actually fitting the rear gearbox to the chassis. Well, there you go. She turned out lovely. I'm missing a battery clip, but I'm pretty sure I've got one. It never came with one, but I think I've got one floating around, metal one, but it'll do. That was the only part that I didn't have that didn't come with the car. So yeah, she turned out really nice and everything's working. I fire up the electronics for you. So yeah, steering and forward and reverse. So yeah, she's pretty good. What's next? Well, now the body. I thought I had a Falcon body, but I don't have one in stock, so I will see if I can source one. The problem is how long it's going to take for it to arrive, as well as I don't have any decals, so I'd have to get some of those as well. Unfortunately, MCI's colour hasn't been that great on the red. They're kind of off, the colours. I know that the colours along the bottom, he's been working on them, but I don't know if he's actually improved the Falcon decals because I wasn't overly sold on them. But I'll have a look if there. I know there's someone else who does a body as well, so I'll have a look on eBay and see what I can find. It's more about the time for it to come here before I give it away. But I'll have a look tonight and we'll see. If you'd like to win this car, well, what have you got to do? Well, there'll be a video that comes out announcing the questions and things like that. But for a start, you need to be a subscriber to YouTube, RCKicks, and if you're on Facebook, you have to be subscribed to Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, maybe I'll get you to do something else. We'll figure it out anyway. But just stay tuned and the upcoming video will be announced in the future. But before that, we also have Rebecca's Madcap coming. She's cleaned all the parts now, so we've just got to put it all back together again. So that will be coming very, very soon. But I've got some new projects that are coming in fast. I think I've got 5 kits that are coming in that are on order that should be coming in the next couple of weeks, as well as I'm itching to build the Ferrari F189 that's right down there. You all seem to be quite keen on it, so I'm desperately trying to stick to doing the projects I've already started for you, because I know it gets a bit annoying when I start a project and then it disappears. 959. Yes, I know, the 959 chassis swap. It's still down there staring at me too. But I am not impervious to going, ooh, I like that new project. Anyway, if you'd like to subscribe, hit the bell below. If you'd like to support the channel, I have a Patreon page, or if you'd like to make a one-off donation to the channel to keep it going, then you can just PayPal friends and family to the email below. Thanks very much. See you on the next one. Bye-bye. Check out one of these RC Kicks videos for some more RC fun.